Well, welcome to My Toy Life. We're having to do it a little bit different this week. I can't be live because of personal issues, but we do have a great show for you. So I want you to like, share, and subscribe and hit that button so that you'll be notified when we do go live. This is a fun time to talk about G.I. Joes, and we've got an awesome guest today. Please tell your friends, share the video, share it in some of the groups, share it out there so people can see us and get to know about our little show. This is, I believe, episode 22. I could be wrong, but I think it's 22. And you have to forgive me for the lighting because it's in the daytime rather than the night, so all the lighting is different. But let's get into the good show. We're going to bring in our good buddy, Rick here. Welcome to the show, Rick.
Hey, Terry.
Hey, how you doing?
Good, good. I'm good today. How are you?
We don't want to get into personal stuff, but I hope everything went okay at the doctor.
Oh, yeah, I did. It was good.
Good, good, good news, right?
Yeah.
Well, I got a couple of things that I wanted to show real quick here. I don't know who made this. This is MASH.
Yeah. Hawkeye.
And the guy that I bought it from wanted me to send it back to him so that he could maybe make a mold of it and start making some. And I said, well, I don't trust the mail nowadays. So
No.
I ain't sending him back. And then I got my talking Joe. And of course, he ain't perfect, but
It didn't pick it up.
kind of
Can't
quiet.
hear it.
Can't hear it.
No.
He said he's got a tough assignment for you.
Great.
The tough assignment is trying to get him to be heard on the show. So what have you been doing in your zoo, brother?
Oh, I got a couple things to show. I'll show this one. This is trying to think what I got here.
Oh, this is the Wolfman, huh?
Did I show this one before?
No, no, I've not seen it.
So what this is the wolf. The face is from NECA. They did American Werewolf in London.
Oh, okay.
From the movie. All right.
Okay.
Now, and the figure, which was the full wolf figure, came with two heads or two faces. So if you look at this, it's only the front. The G.I. Joe head, but the face fits right on, and I didn't have to glue it or do anything crazy. I didn't have to alter it, so I can go on the original figure. And as long as I photograph it right, it looks pretty good. The leather jacket is from 21st Century Toys, one of the villains. I think the guy who came with the motorcycle. And this, most of this stuff falls apart over years. This is like right out of the package. It's beautiful, And it's
does his mouth move? Does his mouth move too?
No, but the other face is like a closed mouth.
So you got an open mouth and a closed mouth, huh?
Yeah.
Cool. And it just fits right on his head, huh?
Yeah, it just jammed right on there. I didn't have to do anything. And the jeans are from Indiana Jones, the Mutt figure. Are you familiar with that?
Yeah.
Mutt, he had these great cuffed jeans. So this is my kind of homage to the 50s. I was a teenage werewolf kind of thing.
Yeah.
He's just
Michael Landon.
Michael Landon, yeah. The other thing I got to show real quick, I bought these figures because I just liked them. And these are about 7 inches tall. And this is from Armageddon with Bruce Willis.
Oh, yeah.
And Ben Affleck.
Cool.
These are the outfits when they went on the asteroid.
On the asteroid, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. They're very limited articulation, but they're fun, and they're fun to photograph. This guy, good likeness to Willis.
Yeah, I think I've seen some of the photographs that you made with these guys.
Yeah, I haven't. Yeah, I shot them a while back,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and I think Matchbox made these, and they made several like spaceships and different things, but they were in really small scale. They didn't scale with the figures. The figures were all by themselves, you know.
Right, right.
But I was lucky to find them on eBay some time ago, so I scooped them up and found them in one of my totes that I had forgotten about. so, so
Well,
I might try photographing them again.
every time you're on the show and I see you sitting here, I wonder, is that a policeman behind you? Is that a New York policeman behind you over there? I don't want you to fall down now.
Which
Up on that top shelf there, or second from the top. That
is this one?
yeah, that guy there. What is that?
Oh, this is I've shown him before, I think. This is my custom Omega Man.
Omega Man. Oh, wow. I
That's
like that.
that's Charlton Heston. Are you
I
familiar
like
with the
that.
movie?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. It's a dragon jumpsuit that I painted blue. I painted it with acrylic paints.
You're kidding me.
Yeah, and the let's see. He's got a K-bar knife, a marine K-bar.
Uh-huh.
Then he's got that's his clip for his
The clip.
M76.
Yeah.
Yeah. He should have something else on there, but it's like a I think it was a thing to hold a flashlight, which I do have, but it fell off. I have to reglue it.
Gotcha.
And
Cool. Well, he's a cool figure. I've seen him behind you a couple of times, so I was just wondering.
yep.
Well, let's bring our guest tonight, Stacy. This is a absolutely awesome creator, collector, rebuilder. And so he's coming on here. Here comes Stacy. How you doing, bro?
Good. Thank you for letting me be on the show.
Well, I'm honored. I'm honored to have
Well, thank you.
you know, I called Angelo the flocker, and then I thought to myself, no, Stacy's got to be the flocker. He's the one that did all the flocking at Joe Lanta and couldn't even enjoy the show.
Oh, I know. It was really it was the second time I was there, and I was so tired. I said, nah, I'll never do that again.
Yeah.
Never again.
Yeah, that was just too much. I just way overdid it.
Well, is that mainly what you do now is flocking, or you just about do anything, don't you?
Yeah, I've done. Yeah, I don't know. It's hard to say. I do a lot of painted heads too. I restore those. But flocking is probably 60%, and then the rest is other things like the jet I'll do or something like that. Or this is one of the last painted heads I've done. This so you can see. I don't know if you can see that.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So I redo the eyebrows, lips, and scars. Sometimes I repaint the eyes, and the hair's been repainted. So,
Well, you probably wear magnifying glasses, don't you?
yeah, because I'm getting older. 10 years ago, I didn't have to, no glasses at all. But now, man, it's awful.
I see the Evel Knievel motorcycle behind you.
Yeah, no, I collect that. That's a vintage one. I fixed that.
Uh-huh.
The foot stirrups, the foot pegs break all the time.
Okay.
So I recast new ones and then just regraft them on so that way. But it's a working one. So.
Nice.
Mike Gardner posted today on his page Evel Knievel jumping across a big ditch, almost 20 feet. And it was that little motorcycle. And I thought, well, first of all, the photography is amazing. And secondly, to get that little toy to do that had to have been amazing.
Yeah. I'm friends with the 7-inch Daredevil. He's a big Evel Knievel collector. He's also G.I. Joe. It's Vince Reen.
Okay.
And I think he still holds the world's record for the longest Evel Knievel motorcycle jump.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Wow.
Yeah, he's that big, and so he helps me with my collection. it started off with one, and then you know how that happens. So
There's always one.
yeah, you just take that first one, and then you know you just drink the Kool-Aid. So
Yeah.
Well, you were telling us before the show a little bit about the jet. You want to share a little bit about the jet?
Sure. The jet was really, really bad shape. It was pretty trash. It was complete and not really damaged. The windscreen or windshield, whatever you want to call it, was scratched up a little bit. That was easy to buff out. But this was really, really in bad shape. So I tried all different kinds of things. Finally, I just had to sand it to get the big scrapes that were in it out. And then I painted it. So this whole jet has been repainted. So I took it apart. I even drilled out the rivets for this that holds it down, and that holds the landing gear on. I just redid everything. I repolished up all the nuts and bolts so that to hold it together, everything. I put together it's got the early issue tortoise shell cover on the front.
Right.
So the landing gear is the only thing that hasn't been repainted. And as you can see, that matches.
Uh-huh.
Yep.
I had a hard time because I airbrush everything. So, and then I put sealer on it. So I spent probably a month. It took me about a month to get the color right because this is a unique color. It really is. So, yeah, but I was happy with that. So this is Pastor Cruz Flores' jet. He still doesn't want me to send it yet. He's got a bunch of stuff that I'm working on, and after we get all that done, then he wants me to send it after. So it sits.
One of the things that I would like to see, I don't mind buying things from overseas, but sometimes it's just a little bit more of a hassle to buy from overseas.
Yes.
And I'd like to see somebody do like they did for the Action Man plane like that, where they have the dash.
Oh, right.
It's just a sticker, but you can put it there because, when you look at your plane and there's just nothing there, it kind of looks, but that sticker.
Yeah, there is a guy out that does it. Let me look at I give you his name real quick.
All right.
He does the back and the front dash sticker. And actually, I have one. I can go grab it and show it to you if you guys.
Yeah.
Wait a second.
Yeah. And it here in the U.S., you mean?
Yeah, he's here in the U.S. Let me go get the stickers, and then I'll look at his name real quick. So give me just a second, okay?
You take your time.
Oh, it's Frank. He's on Messenger.
His name Frank?
Yeah, he goes by Frank.
Frank. Okay.
Yep. Yeah.
Frank.
That's interesting. Frank. I have seen it in England, but I have not seen it in America. So that will be good to know. My jet.
I thought it came with the instrument panel.
No. And of course, I think that they're probably. I think mine is the ones that. And you may know, Stacy, who was the first? Was it Irwin that made the first jet?
Yes,
and
Irwin
then
made it.
Didn't somebody else come out and make another one?
Well, Irwin sold it. Can you see the?
Yes, Frank. Okay, we got it.
Okay, all right. So here's those stickers are actually his. So he made all those decals.
Okay.
And then here is we didn't install it, but because I'm going to send it to. It's up to Cruz. I didn't want to put it on. So there's the two stickers.
Yeah, I got to get that. I've got to get that. Yeah, because my plane, I don't have it. I don't have an Irwin plane. I don't know who the other guy was that made it. But
James D. Simone made a
replica. Thank you. That's the plane that I have.
Right.
And it is a little bit different.
Right. But it's very much similar. Yeah.
Yeah. But the way I got it is there was a collector that had this jet, and they were in Texas, and they kept posting pictures of it. And so I sent them a message and said, "What you going to do with that jet?" And they said, "Well, I'm trying to find somebody to give it to because I have no place to put it." And I said, "Well, what do you want for it?" And they said, "Give me your mailing address."
You got so lucky.
So I got my jet for my mailing address. Isn't that sweet?
Nice.
Talk
I
about
know.
a sweet deal.
Yeah, you got
Yeah.
lucky.
I got lucky.
I never get that lucky.
I got lucky that day, and I tell you what, I wouldn't sell that thing for anything in the world.
Yeah, it comes apart differently, but it's
Yes.
still based on the same design and everything.
Yes.
But these decals are all die cut, and they're got adhesive on them, so you just peel and stick, and you're done.
I'm getting one of those today,
And he's reasonably priced.
I'm going to advertise it on. I'm going to put it in the comments section of this video so people can, check it out themselves.
Yeah, yeah. And as you can see, I'll bring this closer so you can see the other decal. So let me take this landing gear off first. He did everything. So the star and bars are done. He did the anther and all the ones. So he sends you the whole set.
Yeah,
you get everything. The tail one, So it's a really. I mean, they look just like the originals.
Yeah, nice.
So it's a beautiful job.
I really like it. I really like it.
He also sends you when you buy them, because some people have these damaged. I had to take these off. These are original, but he sends you actually decals with these too, if you want them. So if you don't have them, you got the lightning bolts.
Well, I got a good deal because mine has the original stickers that it came with, and they're in almost perfect shape. But I just really want that dash.
Yeah.
That's just something that's bugged me ever since I got the plane. It's bugged me.
Yeah. Well, I have a one of these. It's mine, and I'm going to paint mine. It's pretty trash too. So, but I'm going to customize mine. I'm going to paint mine silver and paint the front of the top of the jet black, so for the sun glare.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to stencil the actual canopy so it looks like it's steel going across the glass.
Ooh, that'll be nice.
Yeah, so I'm going to make it look like the real, like a 60s jet.
That'll be nice. That'll be nice.
So it'll be silver, white, and black. The whole thing will be,
Nice.
Well, for people that may not know you, Stacy, tell us some of the things that you do so that if they want to get in touch with you.
Well, easiest way to get in touch with me is Facebook through Messenger.
Okay.
Stacy Armstrong or SIG20. Okay. If you want to email me something, sig.20@yahoo.com. I don't have a website. I used to be on eBay, but I kind of got tired of eBay's crap. And what I do is I do hair reflocking for the GI Joes, or I've done Ken. I've done all kinds of stuff. I do. If you see any of the flock berets out there, like the green beret hats, I do those. I'm the one started that. I flock big bears and all different kinds of stuff. Boy, I'll tell you what. One thing I'll say is the flocking goes everywhere. You think that you contain it to one little room? No, you'll go into the freezer and find it on the bottom of. It just goes everywhere, so you have to be really careful. But I mean, so I do that, and then I do custom work or any kind of GI Joe restoration, Jeeps, anything. I can repair pretty much anything. I do replacement slings. If you have rifles that don't have the pins that hold the rubber strap, I can drill out and put new pins in it for you so you can use those again, or just regular elastic slings or stuff like that. I'll repair that. Shoulder holsters, I'll repair that, or the pips that go into the holsters for 45s that holds the flap down. Anything that's GI Joe, pretty much I can do. I have a plastic welder, so
What's your earliest memory of GI Joe?
I got my first one as a hand-me-down through my cousin, who didn't want to hand it over, and my aunt made him give it to me. He had like 3 or 4, and I took it home with me, and it never left my side. It was in the bathtub, and then went after I got changed and went to bed. It went to bed, and of course, water was leaking out of it still. But it went everywhere with me. So my mom got me my first new one in '68. So I got a military one, and I've got them every year until they quit making them 2 or 3 times a year, because if my birthday was in February, so then I'd get it in February, then I'd get it at least again in Christmas.
Yeah.
So, and I'd always get figures, and I sadly don't have any of my original ones because I played with them very rough. I blew them up. Yeah, man, I would love to have one, just one, but I sadly don't have anything that it was originally mine. But that was my favorite toy. And my second favorite was Evil Knievel. So, yeah, I really, I just enjoyed it, so I went from not having it for such a long time. And I think I was it was 99 or something like that. I saw it in a flea market. And I thought, oh, wow, I forgot all about G.I. Joe. I'm like, so I went to the guy and he's like, $50. I'm like, $50? No. Yeah, this is 99, And then, so I joined, I did the master collector thing. And then I saw when, I guess it was 99, I think it was, or 98, when Cotswold Collectibles came out. And, I kind of did that. And then I joined the G.I. Joe Club, and then I just kind of fell down the rabbit hole. What started me getting the new stuff was I saw when Duke came out for Target.
Okay.
And I saw that and I'm like, oh yeah. So I went down there and like, they didn't have any. So I had to go like 30 miles to the next Target, and they had one. So I bought one. And then I was like, oh yeah. And I couldn't wait to rip it open. I opened it up and it's like, oh, he doesn't bend like, I was like, oh, and he's so heavy. And so then I started going to flea markets everywhere. And then I finally found an old one. And my first one was a Land Adventure that I bought. And I bought a bag full of clothing, and it had a Marine uniform and a cap. And so I stuck it on him. And I would take my wife and kids camping. He would go camping with me. And I'd set him up.
Oh, yeah.
Like on the propane tank or different
yeah.
things, like helping me like unhook the trailer. And
right.
I started, and then, then everybody sometimes you get into financial difficulties. So I had to sell my collection twice. And then this last time I said, well, I started off with pretty much all military the first 2 times. So I said, well, I'm not going to collect any military. I'm going to do all Adventure Team this time.
Uh-huh.
And sadly, that's not been the case. I haven't stuck to that because when you find a good deal or something, you better get it, so
yeah,
they seem to be getting harder to get than, because I had the whole 60s. I had just about everything except for that like Minesweeper tank that other company made, begins with a C. I can't think of it. And I didn't have a jet. But I had everything else. And Cotswold got most of my stuff when I had to sell, because when you're back in the, I think it was 98, that was still kind of like pre-internet. So where are you going to sell a collection if you need cash quick?
Right.
You can't really put it in the paper and nobody's going to see it, and then he's going to try and pick it up for nothing. So there wasn't many places that were buying collections. So I had to sell it to Cotswold. So, I wasn't exactly happy about that, but, for selling it and for what they gave me. But I got a lot of box figures back then, because back then it was easier to get, stuff.
Yeah, you could find stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, no, it's harder. But you do have the internet, so that made it easier a little bit now. But
my wife and I were talking about it, and, by me doing these shows, I've come to realize that each one of our memories have affected us differently.
Yes.
Like for instance, if a person said, I had one like this when I was a kid, or I still have that one when I was a kid, or whatever, then, their experience is a little different because they had a figure that they still have or that they remember having.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And my memory is completely different, because when I was a kid, I had no G.I. Joes, none. The neighbors had G.I. Joes, and they would always let me play with one of the ones that they didn't want to play with. So we would be in the ditch, digging trenches or foxholes or whatever, and they'd throw me one of the Joes that they didn't want. His uniform might be tore all up, or
missing a hand or something.
Missing a hand or whatever, or maybe the cat has already, bit his head or something.
Yeah.
And so that was my memory of growing up as a GI Joe, and I just never had the kind of memories that some of the other people had. But when I had 4 boys, we played with all kinds of things. And one day we went to a yard sale, because that was one of the things we liked to do, is we would go and buy things and resell things. That we had a lot of fun doing that. And this is the one that I found that day. This is the Joe that I found that day. And my sons will argue with me and tell me that is my GI Joe. But this is the one that started it all.
Yeah.
Because, I paid $5 for him, and he still does talk. I know you can't hear him, but he still talks.
Uh-huh.
And so that's what started him all. So the reason that I have all these GI Joes is a different reason than why you guys have them. Yeah. I have them because I never had them.
Yeah. So well, that's seems to be a lot of the case. So everybody has that same memory, though. If you played with a GI Joe, and you had a damaged one, we'll say the face or the eye or the hair, it's missing too much hair, broken finger, or whatever. That GI Joe always becomes the bad guy, or it goes to the kid who didn't have a GI Joe to play with when we all got together. Yeah. And everybody had if you got together with 3 or 4 guys that played GI Joe, we all had our own thing. Like, I was the guy that brought all the GI Joes, and they were always amazed every year. Like, you got 2 or 3. Now we got like 10. I'm like, no, we're back down. I blew the other ones up. So I'd always have them recycling, but I was the guy that brought the GI Joes, and I had a friend who had like the training tower and stuff like that, and he'd bring that, and he had 1 GI Joe. So we were always, and then we had one kid who didn't have any, so he'd have the bad GI Joe with a broken finger, and that's how that's something that seems like if you played with GI Joe as a kid and you played with other kids, that seems to be the same story, kind of.
Yeah. Well, my grandson,
everybody else has got a different,
Yeah. Well, what I was meaning is each person's reason for having them might be based on something different. Somebody might say, well, I have a lot of Joes because I had a lot of Joes when I was a kid, and I still have some. And my reason is because I never had it. That's my reason. So I think I was just meaning that.
So you're just making up for it now.
Yeah. And we had Randy on our show, and he walked in the other room and he said, I don't want my wife to hear this. It was so funny the way he was trying to hide that, But anyway, when my grandson was born, he would see these around, and so we would play with them. I'd get a couple down and we'd play with them. And then somehow I bumped into Joe Atlanta. And so I took him. And for at least 7 or 8 years, it was just an amazing ride.
Yeah.
Because him and I, that's kind of like our vacation.
Yeah.
We just went up there and stayed in the motel. We went to everybody's rooms and did trading. And oh, man, that was a ride. I'm telling you, that was a ride. We enjoyed it. I've got videos of him throwing his Joe off to parachute jump. And one night he tried to set a record. He jumped him 10 times that one night. And that's hard to do because you got to run down the elevator. You got to find your Joe. You got to ride the elevator back up. You got to throw him again. You got to go do it. And, back and forth, that takes time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he had a blast, and I did too.
I did the same thing with my grandson. We did the exact same thing. I took him to Joanna. We had a great time. I had given him his first Joe. He wanted to make it a parachute, so we did the parachute drop.
Mm-hmm.
He threw it off. I held him up, because he's real
Right,
small.
right.
And he was leaning over and he threw it off and it went in a parachute open. We saw it hit the ground. And then I started to put him down. I saw this little kid run over, grab it, and run off out the door.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Somebody stole it. I'm like, geez, really?
Yeah. I actually was there and saw that happen 2 or 3 times. And, that just disgusts me.
Yeah. That's a shame.
I really had my eyes opened to a lot of things. There's a tremendous amount of good people in this hobby. Tremendous amount of guys and gals that are just top notch.
Right.
But there's a couple of guys that are just really, and I won't say what they
tend
are.
to ruin it for everybody. I mean, when you get that bad taste, then you're like,
I was sitting at a table with about 8 guys, and I had just sold something about 10 minutes before. And we talked for maybe 45 minutes to an hour or whatever. And then we all said, well, it's late. We got other things to do. So see you in the morning. And we all went back to our rooms. When I got back to my room, my money clip was gone. And it had $350 on it. And I thought, sure, somebody in this group here, they found it. And they're gonna turn it in,
Yeah.
I've never heard anything. So there's one guy out there that's a sorry guy.
Yeah.
That picked up my money clip.
Yeah.
But the rest of the guys, I have been amazed at how wonderful they are. And, they have, when my grandson when it was his birthday, because sometimes his birthday would actually fall on when Joe Atlanta was, and they would bring him birthday presents.
Yep.
And it just made a powerful impression upon my grandson.
Same thing happened with my grandson. We'd walk around and they'd be like, yeah, it's his birthday tomorrow. And they'd be giving him jokes and stuff.
Yeah.
he was like, I'm like, man, I wish it was my birthday.
Right.
He scored. He got a Jeep. Somebody gave him an old 5-star Jeep. I'm like, wow. I'm like, these guys are great. So I come back and I buy stuff from them.
Well, he had $50 the second year, and he was going to buy something. He had $50, and he really was looking to buy this play set if he could find it. And Puckett was unloading his truck, and I said, Puckett, do you happen to have one of those headquarters or play sets or whatever? And he said, oh yeah. And so he bought it right there from Puckett, and that's one of his prized possessions even to this day.
Yeah.
Because he came there to buy it and he bought it.
Right.
Right there in the parking lot, we didn't even get inside.
He got it before it got up for sale.
Yeah.
I love it when stuff like that happens. I try to encourage my grandkids for the older toys. I mean, I think they, by playing with their electronics, I think it's a good thing, but I don't necessarily think all the time it's a good thing. I'd rather them get out and, like I gave them an Evel Knievel. I gave my granddaughter Dairy Daring, which is the female version of Evel Knievel. She dressed all in pink and at the helmet and everything. Yeah. I bought one of those. Those things are expensive now, but it's a vintage one. So I bought her that and put the pink stickers on the motorcycle, and she went out. They were playing, so they both got them. I encourage them to get outside, to be more active, do things more like, we did when we were kids,
Yes.
Yeah.
Riding your bicycle and stuff like that. I know it's hard for them, and, times have changed, stuff like that. But I try to encourage the younger people to get involved with this, because I just don't want this to die with us. You know what I mean? I want this to go on. So that's why when people ask me, like, what colors do you mix to get, we'll say, like this hair color? That's a hard color to mix, because, blondes I think there's 5 different shades of blonde hair color for G.I. Joe. Right. And I tell them, well, these are the base colors. And then you have to add more brown or, burnt umber or whatever, to get, it just depends. And so I said, just, I tell them how to do it, what type of paints to use and whatever, and then how to seal it. So that way you can put them in water and you can scratch them and the paint don't come off. Right. So, I want this to go on. I don't want this to die. There's no reason. I mean, I'm not hiding any great big secrets, with doing this stuff. I think part of it is making it look accurate and doing a good job, make it look professional, and put this on like when you paint it. See, there's no brush strokes. I don't know if you can see that or not.
Right.
So and it's not airbrushed on. It is painted with a brush. So you just have to learn to do that kind of stuff. And I want like to pass that information on to people so that way they can restore their own. They don't have to send it out. Yeah, I'd like you to send it to me, but I'd like, if you're going to send them, I don't like to do just one. I like to do bigger batches. Like I tend to seem to get like people that will send me 10, 20, or 50.
Right.
Or I got 101. I was like, oh my God. I shouldn't have said yes to that one.
Someone, I bought a lot from somebody, and in the bottom of it was a broken Lone Ranger.
Uh-huh.
And so I did the same thing that you're talking about. I just reached out to the community. I said, has anybody ever done this?
Yep, I've done them.
And one of the guys sent me a private message where he showed me each step that he went through.
Yep.
And I did everything that he told me to do, and I put my Lone Ranger back together.
Yep.
And then I posted a picture of him. I said, I did it. Here he is.
Yep.
And do you know someone else sent me a suit?
Oh wow, cool.
He said, "Hey Terry, I got an extra suit. Put this on that Joe, on that Lone Ranger." So I'm sitting there saying, this community, this is the best thing I have ever done in my life. And I'm a preacher, and I get involved in a lot of other things.
Right.
But this is my hobby. This is my place of peace and joy.
Yep.
Mike Gardner, he runs a really big Facebook page, and every now and then some jerk will come on there and do something, and Michael just shoots him out of there.
Yep.
And then he'll come on there and say, "Look, guys, don't disturb my peace."
Yeah. Yeah. No, I don't think anybody should be spewing any kind of hate. And I see it going across again. There's another like wave of it. Nobody should be picking on anybody or making fun out of anybody about questions they ask, because people are at all different stages of collecting. And other people who've been doing this for 9 million years, yeah, you may know a lot, but you know what? There's that person next to you that don't. So why give them a hard time about it?
That's right.
You had to learn too.
We can make the hobby better.
Yeah.
And we can enjoy ourselves. And that's what it's all about. When it stops being fun, then it's no point anymore.
Right. And my biggest thing, I guess, I get really upset about is people who try to rip off other people. Take your money and then not send nothing, or send you a bunch of crap, or, these people are out here. I just really have an issue with those kind of people. And I've been taken. So I know it's happened to me a couple times.
Well, I had somebody send me a message the other day, and they said, Hey, Terry, send me your PayPal. And I said, somebody sending me a message out of nowhere and saying, send me your PayPal. I'm already got my antennas up. I don't know what's going on there.
Yeah.
And so they never answered me back, you know, and about a day later, I just blocked them because I don't know what they're doing.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
And here's another thing that bugs me is that somebody will say, does anybody have this gun? And then somebody will say, well, send me a message. Why don't you send them a message?
Yeah. Yeah.
You want them to send you a message? That's weird to me.
Yeah, I don't know what all kinds of scams that are out there.
Right.
I would just be careful, because you got to look at anything as being a scam almost anymore. It's a shame.
Amen. So if you ask me to send you a message, I'm already got my antennas up. Because if you want to talk to me, just send me a message.
Right.
I answer all my messages. You don't have to ask me to send you a message. Something's weird about that.
Yeah. Yeah, you just got to be careful nowadays. It's a shame, but I guess that's the way things are. So, I just try to help everybody I can. I put people together so they can make deals. Sometimes I don't care.
I do too. I'll tell somebody where to go because I can't do it all.
Yeah,
I can't do it all. I don't have the time to do it all.
Right.
And if I can help, like somebody asked me the other day, they said, where can I get a holster? I don't, I know that there's a lot of places that I can get a good Western holster, but where can I get one that's kind of reasonable and looks good? And I
Right.
said, well, Tommy Allgood makes good holsters. You need
Right.
to go talk to Tommy.
Right.
Because I tell you what, the thing that I like about Tommy, and he's not pretentious, and he doesn't claim that my stuff is the greatest in the world. But the thing is that when you get something from Tommy, he made it.
Right.
He made it him. That's right. He put his heart in that.
Right.
And one day I had a Native American that I had bought, and I didn't have any clothes, and so I just sent a picture of it to Tommy, and he said, "Terry, you want me to make you a suit for that?" And I said, "Yeah, I do." And I'm telling you, he made a leather suit that looks just like a Native American suit, and it is outstanding. Tommy is he is a Native American,
right?
And so even the moccasins, they look like real moccasins.
Yeah, I remember
with little beads on them and everything.
Yeah, I remember like a long time ago, Cotswold used to sell. They sold moccasins for a while too that looked really good. I thought.
Yeah, they did.
All that stuff's disappeared. It's all long gone now.
Well, Cotswold bought. They bought all the stuff from. What was the name of that company? They made the Lewis and Clark. They made the Lewis and Clark figures.
Yeah.
And they were going out of business, and Cotswold bought all their remaining stuff. And then you could buy some stuff from Cotswold when they had it, but now I think all that
that's gone now. That was
all gone.
Yeah.
But I had already bought all of that because I love Lewis and Clark and I love Sacagawea, and I had bought all that stuff from somebody before they bought it. I wish I'd have known that they were selling their inventory, because I'd have tried to buy that inventory from them.
Yeah.
And you remember Good to Go?
Yes.
Oh man, they had some awesome stuff. I just loved Good to Go.
Yep.
And I was sad to see them go.
Yeah, exactly. I know exactly. No pun intended.
But I think I got one last order in before they went. And I just loved it. And Terry Coop, who made made all that stuff for Marks. I was able to buy some of that CRX stuff at the last few days when she was selling everything. He passed away, and that was the ending of them making any more stuff. So she just sold everything that he had made before he died.
Right.
And a lot of us got some of that stuff in the very end. It was a madhouse, because she'd post a Mark's rifle and say, "I have 1,000 of these."
Wow.
And, tell me how many you want. And I mean, people just went boom, 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 boom. Yeah, I want 15, I want 20, I want 30, I want 40. It was a madhouse.
Yeah, because it's hard to. They made really good copies of like the Winchester and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Marks. I thought they were really good copies. So yeah.
Well, I have people asking me for the Marks repos all the time, and I sell what I have that's extra. But I think I have like maybe 8 rifles left, because I've sold all of them. I think about 150, and I've sold them all. But I ain't gonna sell those last ones, because there ain't no more.
No, that's right. And then you never know what you may build later on.
That's right. That's right. I'm saving them for what I may need in the future.
Yeah, I don't mind having reproduction stuff. A lot of people are like diehard, like I want vintage stuff like that. I don't have a problem against that. I mean, I'm okay with that.
I'm okay with it.
Yeah, but it doesn't necessarily have to be me, because if I can't get the original right yet, I'll take the reproduction stuff.
Yeah.
And I try to help source out stuff for I don't know if you guys are familiar with Third Son Books.
Yeah.
So I'm Paul Harrison. So we do a lot of stuff, and a lot of the figures that he has that's got the hair on them, the flock-haired ones, those are done by me. So those go in his stuff. And it's hard to find reproduction. We try to use Hasbro stuff, first when we make sets, and it's hard to find anything anymore. So sometimes we have to source it out, and we go to China, and that takes forever.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I don't
I
mind it.
like Third Sons. I bought a lot of stuff from him. He was I had a table with another guy there at Joe Lana the last 3 or 4 years before COVID hit, and he was always right across from my table. So I would
Yeah, so
always,
I was right across from you then, because
yeah,
him and I always shared a table.
yeah,
The first couple of years he was there by himself, but after the last couple times it was him and me.
yeah.
So
Okay,
he
well,
had the majority of the table. I had this little spot at the end because all I needed was a
I
few
remember
display.
you. Yeah, I remember you now. Yeah.
Yeah, I was at the end with a little display, and I maybe brought a couple figures, and then most of the time you didn't see me. It's because I was upstairs in the room flocking.
You're flocking. Yeah.
Yeah, and I kept thinking, man, I want to go walk the show, you know. And the only time that that one time I did all those heads is in the morning. You know how you get to we're open an hour before it's open to
Yeah.
the public,
Yeah.
and I think it was Saturday. I think I got to walk around, and I didn't even get the whole hour. I think it was like 45 minutes or so with my grandson. We were there, you know. And
Hmm.
that was the only time I walked around. The other time was like I'd come back down, and he'd say, "Hey, here goes some more," and then I carry the box up. You know, I'm like, I really need to tell him. And then I'd go back down and bring the heads back down to him, and I'd put labels on, you know, or I'd hand them off. I'd say, come up to my room at this time or whatever. And then I'd come back down and he'd have more. I keep thinking, man, I forgot to tell him to stop. So I don't know. But yeah. No, so yeah, we were right across from each other.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, Rick's got a couple questions. They don't have anything to do with Joe's. To end our show, he's going to ask you some questions. He does this every show just to help people get to know you a little better.
Oh my God.
These questions are scientifically calibrated to let our viewers know a little bit more about you and to where you're coming from.
Okay.
So you ready?
Okay. Yeah, I'm ready to fail.
Oh, there's no
pass or
fail.
Okay.
It's they're just questions.
Okay.
What do you think is the best sandwich?
Something, you mean a sandwich as in like to buy at a place, or something I would make?
Like a classic sandwich, you know, like pastrami or BLT, you know, the classics.
Will a Cuban fall into that?
Yep, sure
Okay.
would.
I love a pressed Cuban.
Nice. What do you think is the scariest animal?
Well, I don't know. I guess there's a couple that come to mind. I don't know. I'm always leery of like the recluse spider, uh, a
Gotta be careful of
tiger,
those.
great white shark. I don't know. You know, any of those, any of those that could kill me.
Anything that can eat you. Yes.
Yeah, pretty much.
What was the first concert you ever went to?
Alabama, the country music group. Yeah, Alabama.
So this is kind of a two-part question. What's your favorite movie genre?
So I guess it would be like more like space, Star Trek. I like the Star Trek movies.
Science fiction?
Yeah, science fiction.
So in that science fiction realm, what would be your favorite movie?
Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan.
Ooh, that's what I would have picked. That's a great movie.
Yeah, it is a great movie. It's a great movie.
Best one.
Yeah, you
I
can
about cried when Spock died.
You can watch it over and over. It never gets old.
I stood up in the theater and actually screamed. Looking at me. One guy was in the back going, "Sit down."
So science fiction. Who's your favorite movie star?
Favorite movie star? Probably John Wayne.
Oh, you're killing it. You're crushing it tonight.
That's right. Awesome. You can't get any better.
Sorry.
Awesome. We'll go back to animals. If you could have one exotic pet, what would you have?
probably kill me, but I'd probably like to have a tiger.
Big feline. Yeah, that's nice. All right, one last one. I'll ask you. What's your favorite smell?
Fresh baked pizza.
There you go.
Oh, I think you got 100 on every one of your questions tonight, man.
No, well, it's not there's no 100, but the audience knows a whole lot more about you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which is what these questions are designed for.
And I think we
Please
all
do not judge me.
we all love that pizza, man. We can't get past that. That pizza's that's amazing.
Yeah, I love that.
Well, you got a minute here, Stacy. Anything you want to say in closing?
No, thank you.
Konnichiwa.
Yeah, konnichiwa. Yeah, because I'm half Japanese, by the way. So, the only thing I could probably close with is just say, like, guys, let's try to be together as a brotherhood of GI Joe guys. Let's or girls.
Yes.
Not trying to exclude anybody. And just try to reach out and help out each other. I mean, we can make this still go on. And
yes.
Maybe one day we'll get back to GI Joe Club.
That's right. That's right.
Just I'd like to see this go on. I wish Hasbro would have put something out this year. I would have went out and bought 25 of them or whatever, even if they were so, just to help encourage them to make something again.
That's right.
But,
yeah.
I don't know. But,
well, thank you for being on our show. I really appreciate it. You really enlightened us and gave us some good stuff today. And thank you, Rick, for always being my sidekick, my Ed McMahon over there.
He does a good job.
He does a great job.
Yeah.
I didn't say much this time, but sometimes you got to sit back and listen.
Well, we learn more by listening, don't we?
We sure do.
Yes, that's true. And he's also like, when you guys couldn't see him, he was over there like with the Billy Club, like just make sure you answer it correctly.
No,
well, like I always say, remember, toys are fun. Y'all have a good day, and thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Until next time. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.